So you have a tender read and you love overlanding. You have plans to do it big on the trails and some super glamping. One ideas, tip, news and reviews, a podcast the first rate and here just for you. You don't have to think about it, join us and be about it. Something interesting we want to hear about it, come on let's talk about it. Welcome to Waypoint Overland's Random Waypoints Podcast.
Sponsored by MIDLAND Communication for Every Adventure, the industry leader in radio communication technology and innovation for over 50 years. Sponsored by MYMEDIC. Sponsored by TEMBO TUSK. Sponsored by Shower Pouch. Sponsored by DMOS Collective, mission built and made for mobility. Sponsored by BrewTrek. Sponsored by Hard Impact Designs.
Always remember, the opinion you follow should be your own. Just consider the things stated here to be a second opinion from a complete stranger online.
What's happening, CANDI?
Hey, Phil. How you doing?
I am great. So how have you been since last week?
Wow, just been unpacking and trying to get organized after getting home from Overland Expo in Colorado. Not an easy task, and it's something that's taken me this entire time to do.
Well, it always takes me a lot of time. I'll finish unpacking a day before I need to leave.
Yeah.
Did you get the information I gave you about the Giga Train in Berlin? Tesla's Giga Train?
The one that runs on diesel?
Yeah. So talk about that. Since you brought that, talk about that immediately.
Well, Tesla is supposed to be leading the world in electric vehicles here, and the train that's being used in Berlin to transport workers and the public from one train station into their factory is run on diesel. What's going on with that? I wonder, there's got to be some kind of reason. They're smart people. I just wonder if there's a specific reason for that.
Yeah, that was a great catch by you. And irony for sure.
Yeah.
And so we're talking about a post on Twitter. We'll leave a link for others to watch it down below. The irony of an electric vehicle company's main source of transportation being a diesel engine is just crazy.
Yeah. There, like I said, there's got to be a reason for it. It says that the station, though, I guess they're making it better. The canopy is covered in solar panels. So maybe they're making something up from there. I'm not sure.
Well, you got to charge your phone while you're waiting for the train.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess you do. You're right. You're right. Oh, my goodness.
But the reason why we have this on our list, that's great irony there. But I brought this up because Tesla is running away from the competition before they can even really get started. Mm-hmm. People thought that when Ford and other major companies like that jumped in with their power and their money, they just immediately catch up. They haven't caught up, and things like this are going to keep the distance between Teslas and the other vehicles at a wide margin. Mm-hmm. I haven't seen this kind of dedication towards the company and its working community since the days, of like Ford,
yes.
Hershey's chocolate, companies like that built not only great manufacturing companies, but they created infrastructure for the people who worked there.
Yes.
Some of them even went as far as building homes and complete neighborhoods and communities. Mm-hmm. So I like it for so many reasons. Tesla's all in. They're not giving in to the other companies. They're looking ahead, and everybody has to catch them.
Yeah, they're one of the few true innovators, I think, of our time right now. And it's really been very interesting to see them evolve.
Yeah. The more research I do about electric vehicles, and I've been doing a lot, especially doing this podcast, Um, you would be shocked at how many patents Tesla has. And you'd be shocked at how many other companies who talk about their innovation and stuff like that. They're using Tesla patents to create their vehicles. There's some companies, they're not using their patents, but they're relying on their power sources, their batteries. They are providing batteries for a lot of companies, and not just for vehicles. So the world has a lot of catching up to do with Tesla, in my opinion. And I don't own a Tesla, just so people know that.
I agree with you. I've really enjoyed watching all the innovation. So we'll see what's next. Well, I'm super excited about the one going up in Texas too, because we have one up here in Northern Nevada. And, they're doing a lot of really great stuff. In fact, they're supposed to be building, that plant up in Northern Nevada is supposed to be dedicated to building the new semi-trucks.
I am totally shocked that Nevada is not a much bigger player in the solar game, considering how much land is available and sun and sun.
Mm-hmm. We've got a lot of solar farms going up these days. I came across one that I had not known was there. It was just like I drove by and it was there one day, and it's huge. In fact, you would know it. It's around the entrance of the Valley of Fire, off of I-15 there. Yep. There's a new solar farm there.
So is it when you come off of the highway, or is it when you come through Lake Mead?
No, it's off I-15.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't like to come that way anyway.
Yeah. Well, it's right there. The rest of the land around it's protected.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think that they could go in toward Lake Mead area.
That makes sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing was being done with the area, so there shouldn't be any static about it.
No, literally nobody else is there except that one gas station that's on the corner as you go into Valley of Fire.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
oh, you're talking about from the West End, where they sell the fireworks and the big gas station.
Yeah,
I thought you meant from the other end. You can come in from the other end. So like when you come in that way and you go through Valley of Fire, you can actually just drive out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you go back to 15. I thought you were talking about that way.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. No, we've got a lot
about that.
Yeah, we've got quite a lot of solar stuff going in, and it's we'll see what happens. You never know.
Did you see the new 2024 Porsche Cayenne?
No, I did not. I had no idea. Let me look that up real quick.
Okay, I'm not on my job. I'm sorry, Candy. I could have sworn I sent you a photo of the new Cayenne.
You sent me 5 things. 5. That's it.
Well,
I got it though.
The Porsche, there's a new 2024 Porsche Cayenne. It's a turbo and it's electric hybrid SUV. Ooh. And for some of our listeners, they're going to be like, why is he talking about a Porsche on here? But as you know, there's actually quite a few Overlanders these days riding around in Porsches. Yeah, and I mean, they're really out there doing it. They're not show pieces. So,
I have yet to meet one on the trail, so we'll see.
So with this 2024, it's going to replace the turbo that they had previously, and there'll be a V8 and an E-motor that's going to produce 729 horsepower with 700 foot-pounds of torque. That's crazy. I read and I was looking for information saying what they had done with this electric to make it worthy on a trail. Most of the other vehicles that they plan on having on the trail, other companies, they have some kind of power system where when you set it for off-road, it keeps the torque. It keeps the horsepower, but it lessens the torque, so that you can tap the accelerator without digging yourself in a hole. But I didn't see any information about that, and I read just about everything about it. I may have missed it. But what do you think about it on a visual level first?
It's a hot ride.
I
I think
think
it
so
looks
too.
good. Yeah, I think it looks good. The Porsche Cayenne has always been somewhat of a favorite of mine too, though. So I'm a little biased. It looks just as good as it always has.
So a bit of
But it's
trivia, for you.
mhm.
The vehicle that I chose to move forward with for my next trip, I
Yeah.
also had a Porsche Cayenne. I literally
Oh,
it was pick one, sell one. I sold that and I kept the Lexus.
okay.
So I thumbs up. I had no issues. People complained about them and said it's expensive. I changed the oil, followed the maintenance, blah blah blah. I had no issues, and that was a 2000. What was it? 2012. I'm
Nice.
sorry.
I looked at a Porsche Cayenne for sure at one point whenever we were looking to, replace things and get new things and stuff like that. That was a contender for me, was the Porsche Cayenne. Because it's the same price point as everything else out there at this point. I mean, you can, it's you get a Toyota Tundra or you can get a Porsche Cayenne. I mean, they're the same damn price point at this point. So it's like, why not get the premium?
Yeah. And if you get a used one, you can get them dirt cheap. The reason I know is because, like I said, I just sold mine and I didn't get nothing for it. And it was clean. Yeah. If you were to like go on some kind of online site and look at the prices of Porsche Cayennes, they're like in the $6,000 to $10,000 range.
What?
Yes.
You're kidding.
Well,
That's
I mean,
crazy.
it's like a 2010, but still.
Yeah.
You're talking about you spent maybe $90,000 on the vehicle, depending upon which one you got, and all you can get is 10 grand for it.
That's a crazy depreciation. People need to pay attention to that stuff too.
Mm-hmm. Same thing with the Land Rover. The Land Rovers, they give them things away. You can buy a Land Rover for nothing. Not the Defender, the other one. They practically give those away.
My dad had one.
They're very expensive to maintain once they're out of warranty.
Yes, they are. Yeah, he had that thing for 5 years. So it was out of warranty and everything. Mm-hmm. And boy, let me tell you, he complained. He's like, all right, that's it. I got to get rid of this thing. It's getting too expensive to maintain.
Yeah, I bet he did.
Just an oil change was super expensive. It was all premium, all of it. So it was very expensive, compared to other things.
Speaking about the cost of like oil changes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We have several European mechanics or mechanic shops or whatever you call them, tuning shops in my neighborhood. Mm-hmm. And it's a bunch of brand new vehicles in there.
Yeah.
Because they can't afford to go to the dealer to get work done. They go out and buy these $100,000+ vehicles. And then they freak out when they find out that the oil change is $225.
Right. I know. Yeah. Yeah. My dad complained the same thing. I think it was like, what was it? $325 or something for his Rover to get an oil change done. Just like simple maintenance like that was somewhere, if I'm remembering correctly, was somewhere in the $300 range.
That sounds right.
That back then, my dad died, a few years ago. So, I mean, his ride was, older than that was probably what, 15 years ago. Mm-hmm. And it was still $300 then, somewhere in that price range. If I'm recalling correctly, it was expensive because he had it done at the dealership.
No vehicle I've owned in maybe 20 years do I take to the dealer unless it's, they call it in for a, I forget when something's wrong with their vehicles and they bring them in, recall, unless it's a recall or something very specific to that car that I want a brand mechanic to work on it. Yeah. Minus that, I don't ever go. I literally halve my maintenance costs by not going to the dealer. The flip side of that is, you half it, but you better know who you're taking it to.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely. Well, and now with these electric vehicles, nobody's going to be able to work on that vehicle. No personal mechanic is going to be able to work on their own vehicle anymore. We're accustomed to, so all our vehicles we bought new, right? But we're the kind of people who keep them till the wheels fall off, okay? And even then we might, put some baling twine and duct tape on it to keep it going for longer. Who knows? But we've got, we look at the electric vehicles and the first words out of my husband's mouth is, I can't work on that. What am I supposed to do if we want to do something? Even on the new van that we've got, our new build, we've got, we did our own oil change, the very first one out the gate. We have no plans to take it to Ford for anything.
Oh, but I understand.
Yeah, these electric vehicles, that's the only intimidating thing about the electric vehicles, in my opinion, is the fact that you can't work on it yourself. You have to take it to someone who knows what they're doing, and they have to be a certified mechanic for it. Otherwise, they haven't been trained how to use it. So
CANDI, I'm all over the place. What else did I send you so I can make sure I know what I sent you?
You sent me 5 things. Okay. You sent me
just mention one.
3 of the emails, 3 of them were for the Lintner roof rack. 3.
Okay. All
and
of
then,
them?
Huh?
Go ahead.
And then 2 of them were for the roads. So the Hamilton Road and the 8th one.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So it was gear and it was roads. That's what you sent me.
One of those roads, if you scroll through it, it's actually 2 of them. Just so you know.
Right. Yes, I saw that. Mm-hmm.
Did you hear about Jeep Wrangler's milestone?
Tell me.
Jeep brand announced the sale of its 5 millionth Jeep Wrangler.
Wow, that's amazing.
The owner that purchased it, he's going to receive $5,000 worth of Jeep performance parts and a lifetime Jeep Wave customer care benefit.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
The vehicle that was sold was a 5th generation Jeep Wrangler. And I just thought that was exciting.
That's pretty cool.
Jeep has really not had any stumbling blocks along the way, unless you consider when they created the YJ with the square headlights.
Okay.
Every vehicle that they've produced has been pretty much very popular, rave reviews. The YJ, which is still actually popular. I see some beautiful YJs driving around, but at the time, I remember most people were not happy with it. A lot of people who have been Jeep owners for a long time, they don't consider the one with square headlights to be a Jeep. But Jeep learned from that. They learned that we don't want too much change, and they've pretty much stuck to that so far.
So I've owned 2 YJs in my lifetime. One was a 94 and then one was a 95.
94.
I had a 90. Yeah. Well, and that was my first brand new vehicle that I ever bought. And it was my first Jeep that I ever bought. And it was white. It was a sport edition. I only paid $16,500 for it. And it was white with that light gray, with a light gray soft top. Man, let me tell you, that thing went a lot of places. So no, I own 2 of them and I loved them. I never had any issues. And I'm on my 2nd CJ right now too, but I can completely understand how the diehard Jeep community, even back then, would have objected to the square headlights. I remember some of the body kits that they did. What was that Renegade that they did? That
was ugly.
That was so ridiculous looking. I remember it and I thought, wow. But back then, that was also whenever they came out with the first Sahara editions, which I will tell you, I loved. I wanted one of those so bad, but it was out of my price range. So fast forward to 2015, the build that I have right now is the exact color I wanted. And it's a Sahara. And it's exactly what I wanted even way back then. So people ask me, they're like, what's your dream car? I'm like, I'm driving it. It's right over there. That's what I always wanted. Even from the time 1994, bought my first Jeep. I saw my first Sahara in that same color scheme. And I ended up buying it back in 2015, all those years later. So
I remember my 94 YJ. It was a stick. It was a 4-cylinder.
A 4.0. Oh no, mine was a 6.
Mine was a 4-cylinder.
What?
And it took me everywhere. I burnt through a bunch of clutches, but other than that, there's nothing I can say about it. And some of them clutches were my fault. So I'm not blaming Jeep for it, because I was doing all kind of crazy stuff. Because with that 4-cylinder, sometimes you had to like rev it before you threw it in gear, to make it be able to do what you needed it to do.
Okay.
So I used to burn through clutches. I mean, like every year I was getting a clutch.
Oh no.
I didn't have it long. So Jeep brand is going strong, and it don't look like they're anytime soon going to give up that distinction.
Have you seen the new 2024 body style? Some of the changes that they've made to it physically?
Yep, I'm looking at it now.
Okay.
So what do you think?
It has to grow on me a little bit. Like you say, people don't like change. It's going to have to grow on me a little bit. I think the grill is a little small for what the Jeep is normally noted for, the Wrangler itself.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of it looks the same. Just the major change has been in the grill area as far as the, physical.
So hopefully I will post some pictures as we discuss this.
Yeah.
Because I have them right here. So it's on me if they're not there. It's my fault. Anyway, when you look at it, you have to look at it as a Jeep owner and not as a Jeep owner.
Mm-hmm.
A person that has no history with Jeep, there looks like there's no difference whatsoever. The differences to me visually stick out because I know that vehicle inside out.
Yep.
So I don't think it will hamper sales for new people coming in. Matter of fact, the little minor touches may actually invite them in. And for us old school people, they didn't do so much, I think, to insult us. Long as they don't insult the people who have been there for them, they're okay. That's what I think.
Okay.
And again, the only time I think we were ever insulted was with the YJ. That was the only time I saw 50-50. Some people liked it, some people didn't like it. So would you move forward with one?
Oh, that is a loaded question. I will say it would have to be a very specific build because there are things that I do not like about the newer vehicles. I don't like the start-stop technology. I do not like that. I mean, yes, you can turn it off whenever you get in the car, but you have to do that every single time.
Right.
What a pain in the butt. It would have to be very, very specific build. And the Sahara, for me, is completely out of the question because now they're running that Sahara on 20-inch rims. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, they're running it on 20. You have no sidewall. I don't know how you're supposed to even deal with that. Then they've got, the standard engine now is a 4-banger again. How are you supposed to turn these big wheels with a 4? I don't get that either. So as much as I am a diehard Jeep fan, it would have to be very specific for me. Because there's certain things I just won't put up with, I've got 2 Jeeps sitting in my driveway right now, and that I really, really love that I have no intention of getting rid of. So adding a new Jeep to the lineup would probably have to be, they've got the 20th anniversary of the 392 coming out. That does not have start-stop technology. The only thing that I would say that I would prefer would be a manual transmission. Because the Jeep that I have right now is my first automatic. All the rest of mine have been manuals. I even had a 6-speed JK whenever that came out. It was my last. Well, aside from my CJs, it was my last 2-door. So, but I would say that I would like it in a manual transmission. I don't want stop-start technology. And I even looked into if they had, somehow, some way, they managed to put in there, even with a stick shift, that you have that start-stop stuff. I don't even know how that works. I thought I could get around it if I got a manual. No,
right.
they saw right through that. They cut to the chain. They're like, no, you can't do that. Fine. I don't know. So yeah, tough question. That's a tough one. I'd have to really, really, really want it. And so far, I'm not really, really wanting it.
Same here, for the same reason. And in addition, the secondary battery that they have is an issue to me.
Yes.
Imagine you being on a major trip somewhere and that battery goes out and you trying to find that very, very, very specific battery.
Yes.
I would go out on a limb and say anybody who has one of the newer Jeeps, that if you're going on any major trips, you should just go ahead and buy one of those batteries now and take it with. You should have that like as part of your recovery kit. Because what are you going to do?
I completely agree with you. I would say that whenever I was down somewhere like Mexico, whenever we were in Baja earlier this year, if we would have broken down, because it's a legit concern. It's things that we need to think about, especially wherever you've got 126,000 miles on a vehicle and you're planning on being in remote places. I can tell you right now that if I had had that special battery you're talking about and it went out, there would be no way I would find it. However, the vehicle that I have, I get repair that day, I'm sure, because they'll have parts sitting around somewhere for it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And my experience has been that sometimes with the older Jeep, they may not have right there in the shop what you need, but they have so many options. They can go to Napa. They can go to a, what do you call it where they demolish the vehicles?
Junkyard.
Yeah, a junkyard. There's so many options that cater to availability, that cater to cost. And a last thing why I'm not ready to move on into the new Jeep is, CANDI, if me and you were hanging out and you're just anything go wrong with your Jeep, I'm not saying I'm the best mechanic because I am not. But I'd say about 80% of the things that would go wrong on your vehicle, I can jump in there and do something. I'm lost with the new one.
Yeah, they don't make it. Friendly for home mechanics. That's for sure. It's tough, and they make it tight in there too. You need special tools to move certain things around and all that other stuff. I mean, I guess maybe that's why I'm such a fan of the older vehicles. I mean, like my 86 build, my 86 CJ7 we've got going on right now. I'm building that out to be able to go places. And if anything goes wrong, oh, well, put one thing in, take one thing out, and it's all good to go. We're good. So, as long as the engine's solid, and, the transmission's solid, the rest of it is all replaced.
I think that me and you need to do a podcast specifically about why you have a majority of what I call the top Overlanders in the world. None of them have a vehicle that's newer than 10 years old.
Okay, sure.
And most of them are not in a financial situation where that's why they chose that vehicle, because most of them got some crazy cars in their garages. The reason is because what we're talking about now is they want to be able to get under that hood and fix anything that happens. So we need to do a podcast on what are the most popular vehicles if that's your mindset.
Okay.
Because there's certain vehicles that have, like you may have one brand, but there are other brands in there. Like for a while, Jeep was with Mercedes-Benz. And there are some Mercedes-Benz parts that go back and forth between certain vehicles.
That's like my Jeep. I have a Mercedes transmission.
I had a Jeep Commander that was basically a G-Wagon. Everything about that Commander was from Mercedes. Everything about it. And there are things that you can get from Mercedes to work on your vehicle. So what I was getting to is we cover vehicles that are easy to maintain, that are common across the world, that any mechanic would know, like Toyotas too. A Toyota dropped anywhere in the world, there's a mechanic that can work on it. And you want a vehicle that has these parts that I'm talking about that are readily available. They're not just used for this particular vehicle, because that's crazy.
Yep.
You mentioned you got the YouTube of, and I'll put a link in the description, of the Leitner ACS roof and gear pod platform. Yeah. So tell me what you think. You can start anywhere, talk about anything, but what do you think about it?
So I think that what I saw from it, it looks like a great system. I like that you don't have to use tie down straps to strap anything down. I like that everything is internal locking, as they describe it. It was really great. And I thought that their product looked a little familiar though too. So I jumped over to Front Runner's website and found out that Leitner actually makes stuff for Front Runner. So I thought that was very, very interesting, because I thought, yeah, that looks like a low profile roof rack from Front Runner is what it looks like. And it turns out that Leitner is actually the one who provides that to them. I like the side opening storage system. I think that that's really great, because for people who suffer from shortness, like me, it makes it a bit easier. We don't have to crawl on top of the roof anymore to get to stuff. I think that was really neat. I like that they've thought about accessories as well, with the wiring, the internal wiring for more exterior lights and things to attach to it. And everything is just very nice and neat and clean. You don't have things, flying away or hanging on or duct taped or anything like that. It's a very clean look. It seems to be something that is secure, which I think is important, because you don't want somebody just walking around and stealing your stuff. I mean, even with your straps, your strap down stuff, if you're using things just to hold it on there, it's not locked. People can come by, cut your straps, and take your stuff. So I think it's a really interesting product.
So CANDI, you took all my thunder.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Note to self: don't have anybody on the podcast that's intelligent and might do some research.
Oh, I'm good at research. Most things I'm good at. You
basically said what I was going to say. That was my little thing that I was going to throw in there, is who is actually making them and why they look that way. So right. Good one. What I'll add to that is almost every single cargo storage that across the board in the world, how do they open? Either it's a lid you take off, or it's a lid that you lift up.
Yep.
So what ends up happening? A majority of the time, you have to bear the weight of this whole cargo box to take it out and lay it somewhere where you can go in it. I like that the doors open like that, so that you can just reach in, even when they're on the roof. You can just reach in, you can see everything.
Yeah.
I'm shocked that this wasn't done a long time ago.
Yeah, I think it's a really innovative piece of kit, and it would be interesting to see how it actually functions.
And it has a strut, so the door will stay open. So you have both hands, whereas when you're holding something up and you're using one hand, that's a big deal out on the trail. When you're looking for something in one of those boxes, having two hands is a big deal.
Yes, it is. Something that they might want to consider if they're listening. Some interior lighting might be handy. That way you don't have to have a flashlight in one hand trying to go through the box and rummage through it. Maybe, like a refrigerator light opens, you open the little lid, you have one single little LED light in there that illuminates things a little bit. That might be kind of cool.
Oh, I like it. I like it. Until then, you can get maybe some little tiny light and just stick it up there, run off a battery. But of course, the battery will go out every time you need it.
Of course. Every time. And batteries. Have you seen the price of batteries these days?
Yes.
Yeah. I thought it was crazy. I bought like 4 AA's and it was $10. I thought that is ludicrous. And I was at like Walmart or something. I wasn't any place bougie. I was at some place cheap because, that's where you buy your cheap batteries is, there. But it's gone through the roof. I'm all about rechargeables these days. If it's not rechargeable, don't even talk to me about it.
So you sent me in a direction. I'm going to have to research and find out why that is, because it makes no sense to me. The batteries that you're talking about aren't like they're not lithiums. They're not any of these phosphates or any of these, new sexy batteries that are being created. These are the old school batteries. You would think that the prices on those would be dropping tremendously to keep them appealing. Yeah.
You wonder why. I have no idea why that is. I remember I just was suffering from some sticker shock whenever I saw it. I was like, is that right? Am I looking at the wrong number here, the wrong barcode? Well, this must be for like a 24 pack. It used to be cheap. Yeah, forget it. I'm all about rechargeables these days.
Amazon basic batteries. I forgot who makes them, but it's one of the big names. So you're getting really good batteries.
Oh, okay.
Still not not cheap.
No.
So I don't know. Are there some rare elements in the batteries?
I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know. All I know is that they were very expensive, and I was very upset by that. I think I was buying batteries for my battery operated dome light, one of those little lights that you're talking about that that you get. And I thought, oh, okay, this would be handy to have around, until I saw the price on the batteries, and I'm like, oh no. No, gonna have to reconsider carrying that around. That's not worth it. Because how much life do you actually get out of that,
Yeah, I literally have boxes of rechargeable batteries. I have a rechargeable battery. I have so many battery chargers right here for rechargeable batteries.
Yeah.
But that is a pain.
And they don't last as long.
They don't last as long. And I don't know the technical term, but they taper off in power more than a regular battery. And I don't trust them. I know when I buy a pack of batteries, I can throw those, because I'm using a lot of gear that uses a lot of batteries. I can take those batteries and throw them in there, and months can go by, and I'm confident that I've got plenty of juice. I charge these things. I have to make sure I charge them like the day before I go, or they'll drop. They'll have a majority of their power, but they'll lose some. And that little bit of loss, if you're doing a production, that could be a big deal. That could be the difference in your lights cutting off on you in the middle of a shoot. Or just your flashlight in the middle of the dark.
Yep. All about the rechargeables, man.
I shouldn't have told you I was going to research that, because you're going to know more about it than me. All right. Well, let's shift gears a little bit.
All righty.
So September 1st, they've been looking for a climber who was lost on Glacier National Park. The body of the missing climber was found.
Oh.
Yeah,
I'm glad they found him.
Yeah. Well, he wasn't alive. He was found late Friday morning, and the park release said searchers found the body of Adam Fusilia, 32, from Castle Pines, Colorado, about 11 a.m. His vehicle was found at Logan's Pass. I know you know where that is.
I do.
And I mentioned that for people to have a general idea of the area where he was. Wow. I don't know what to say. No. I hated even having to mention it. The reason why I consistently mention the deaths, the missing, the animal attacks that go on in these national parks is because it seems like nobody listens. He was doing this climb by himself, and that's an epidemic nowadays. Solo climbers of all sorts, whether it be cliff climbers, mountain climbers, and a lot of them are they're not just happy to climb these mountains. They're preferring not to use oxygen on the high altitude ones where you should be using them. Some of them, they don't want to carry a backpack and different things. So they're literally trying to make these things even harder than they have to be. And I just want people to have fun, but be safe.
I think some of those folks that opt not to use things like oxygen and go extreme like that are trying to get into record books. You know, the first to ever complete XY or, you know, whatever. I suspect that that's probably the reason why, but nothing's worth risking your life over like that. That's, I don't know. And that's, you know, I'm out there to have a good time and have fun. And I'm not out there to get my name in a record book. I'm just doing what I do.
Well, there's absolutely a crowd that's into the record thing, just exactly what you said. But let's take Mount Everest. There's no record to be broken. There's been many people who have done it. People want to be able to say that I did it. There's been so many people who have done it that there's an understanding amongst the climbers that if you make that choice and you're laying there dying, we're going to walk, we're going to continue on and go to the peak, and we're on the way back, we're going to see you and wave and keep going.
Right.
That's crazy.
I think it's ludicrous. I do. I don't understand the thinking there, but okay, you do you.
We were here last year at Shenandoah National Park. There's a search underway for a gentleman named Gerald Bailey. He's 75 years old, 5'11", 180 pounds, has white hair and brown eyes. And there's a search going on for him currently in Shenandoah National Park. The Shenandoah National Park Search and Rescue has given a number if you think you've seen Mr. Bailey. The phone number is 540-999-3422. So I just wanted to get that out there. I hope they found him. I hope that I haven't updated this information and they've already found him. But if not, be on the lookout for him. There are a lot of people in that area. Somebody should see him. He was last seen August 30th. His backpack was found in Pinefield Hut off of Skyline Drive. So he wasn't like somewhere away from traffic or away from people. I really hope that story turns out all right.
Yeah.
You remember last week we were talking about the hurricane and how Idalian was going to be closing a lot of national parks on the East Coast, even though the hurricane was on the west side of Florida in the Gulf. Well, the national park sites are reopening.
Oh, that's good.
So if you had intentions on going, according to the information I have, places like Dry Tortugas National Park, Canaveral National Seashore, Hatteras, Fort Raleigh, all of those places that I said were closed. There's nothing wrong with them. There's no special needs or anything like that. They're open.
Good.
So that's good news. This is a time where a lot of people, they have that on their list. There's people probably been planning to go there, made plans like a year ago. So I'm glad that they're open. All right, Candy. We're going to do 2 random lists this week, which is unusual. I've never done 2, but let's see how that works out. My first list is bucket list roads or trails. And I've seen a lot of people come up with these bucket lists, and they usually do the same old thing. Well, take Schnellby Road when you're Sedona, Schaefer Trail, Black Bear Pass.
Right.
The same old. Okay. And if you haven't done them, I do suggest go. But if you've knocked all of these out, if you've done everything in North America, if you've done all the big trails and you're ready for the next thing, if you're ready to take it to the next level, I've come up with a list of things to start your new bucket list. And the first one I have is what's called the 8th wonder of the world. It's a high altitude highway in the Hunza Valley of Pakistan. And the word Shangri-La, coming into popularity, Shangri-La, using it as an adjective, that comes from a British novelist named James Hilton. And he came up with the idea of Shangri-La from the Hunza Valley. So that's just to give you an idea of how beautiful this area is. Most people have no idea how beautiful Pakistan is. Every time we see it in the news, it's this war-torn place, buildings are destroyed, blah, 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 blah. And that's the first one on my list. I have never done this road, but I'm at a point where I'm looking for new and unusual things to add to my list. And this is the next level for me.
I agree with that. I think that this sounds like a very, very interesting location. The Karakoram Highway, referred to as the eighth wonder of the eighth wonder of the world, is, commonly how it's referred to, was part of the Silk Road, which to me is fascinating. I would love to follow the trail of the Silk Road. This is a portion of it. It's 807 miles total, and it has the highest paved border crossing in the world. And that is over 15,000 feet. 15,000 feet. I do. Well, that's a lot. So I just recently I did Engineer Pass in Colorado, and the high point of that is 12,800 feet. I did have loss of power to my engine going up that climb. So can you imagine what it would be, how it would affect your engine at over 15,000 feet? That's incredible.
That's like another 2,500 feet from what you did. And that's a big difference.
Yeah.
I live in a mountainous region, and I'm at only 500 feet. So I miss a majority of snow. We just get a lot of rain. But if you just drive 20 minutes away, where the altitude gets to like 8 to 10, the passes will be closed. You can't even drive the highways because the snow is like feet high. So the point I'm making is another 2,500 feet of altitude is another world.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, but it sounds cool, and it's definitely something I also want to do.
Now, the road has existed for centuries. But ironically, it wasn't until 1978 that 24,000 Pakistani and Chinese workers, they officially completed the road that is known as the Karakoram Highway. So this is a historic place. It's a historic road. I don't have anything bad to say about it as a person that's never been on it.
Right.
And what I suggest is for people, if what we're talking about is making them curious, just go to YouTube and type in Pakistan Karakoram Highway. I'll make sure that we have the spelling down below. For our audio listeners, it's Karakoram Highway. Anyway, just Google it so you can see some video of different portions. Along the way, there are very civil cities that have all the amenities that you could ever want. And then there's large patches of road in between where you see all types of geography. So I would advise, even if you're not going, just Google it and watch a couple of people who have done it. And I think you'll enjoy it. And the highway, it extends from a city called Hassan Abal near Pakistani's capital, and it goes all the way to Kashgar in China. So this is a long road. So what's the second one that we have on our bucket list? Again, this is 3 bucket lists or trails for Overlanders. So I want to be clear. This is once you've gotten all those other ones off your list. This is second level we're talking about now. Go for it.
This is the Hamilton Road. They call it the the highway to a Kurdish paradise is what they say. It's 114 miles long, and it was built between 1928 and 1932. It took 4 years to complete this. And it was built by the British government. Their head engineer, who the Hamilton Road is named after, was actually from New Zealand. So he's a Kiwi. The head engineer was a Kiwi. But that's where the name of the road comes from. It was intended to be a British-controlled trading route from the Persian Gulf to the Caspian Sea. So they had a vested interest in this. They wanted to make some money. It was a trade route.
Well, you drive around long enough, you'll find out that most of the biggest, longest roads were not made for us.
No.
They were made for money.
Please. Yeah. What do you think they're doing there on the border of Iran? It occupies Iran's western border. The Zagros Mountains do, and that's where you travel through.
So out of those two that we just named, you can only pick one. Which one would you pick?
Karakoram.
Now, out of the two, more people have probably heard about the Hamilton Road, if not, but indirectly. There are a lot of references made to Hamilton Road that people probably didn't even realize that flew right over their head. There's songs about Hamilton Road, all kinds of references to the Hamilton Road. So do a little research. You'll probably find out that you missed a joke. You were in a conversation and something just went totally over your head because you didn't know what the Hamilton Road was. What do we have next?
They call it Norway's Best View. And it's a town. I'm not even sure how to pronounce it, but it's spelled KJ.
Before you do that, I strategically asked you to do it because I can't pronounce the name.
I don't speak Norwegian, so I don't know what it's supposed to sound like, to be honest.
Go ahead.
But it's spelled KJEASEN.
and it's not even a regular A. It's one of those A's with a sign on top of it.
It's got some kind of asterisk or something on it. But anyway, it's famous as one of the most isolated inhabited corners of Norway. It is the road. So the people have been living up there for quite a while, and the road was not in until 1975. And these people, were already living up there, but they had to use a series of rope ladders and rope bridges to get back and forth. And it's 600 vertical meters above the town and the fjord that you actually have this incredible view of, which translates to almost 2,000 feet. So you're doing a vertical climb of 2,000 feet. They say that they had, at one point, they said 19 children who lived up there, and they had to walk to school, and it took them 4 hours to get to and from school in a day because they had to go through this whole deal there before the road was done. That sounds like a real dedication to education to me. So good on them.
Go ahead.
Okay, so the last permanent residents of this little village left in 2019, but the reason she left was because she got there in 1975. Her and her sister had originally arrived to help their aunt, I believe it was, with some of the farming and things that needed to be done. But she got into her 90s, had difficulty doing things by herself. Nobody wanted to live up there with her. So now she's still alive. To this day, she's still alive. And her family summer up there at this point. So she's still going back, which I think is pretty darn cool. But the road that she has to take now is, it's only 4 miles, but it's extremely switchbacky. And you're going up this vertical, the description of it is very reminiscent of Schaefer Trail in Moab, to be honest. But as you go up that face into Canyonlands, it's very reminiscent of that to me. And it's a one-way road system. So on the hour, you can go up. On the half hour, you can go down. In the meantime, in the middle of all that, you got to wait at either the top or the bottom to get your turn. So it sounds like it's a very interesting road itself. Yeah, but
Well, this is something that's actually on my personal bucket list.
mine too, ironically.
And recently was added to my bucket list. I
Okay.
already had a trip planned for 2028 to drive from Spain to Norway. And obviously through my research, this popped up and I was like, yeah. I don't know. It just automatically got typed into my itinerary. I'll figure it out.
Well, because it's not the road that people go there for. They use the road to get to the view up at the top, because there's supposed to be this spectacular view of the fjord and of the village below. And it's supposed to be just incredible. So yeah, that's on my list as well.
And for those listening, if you're ever wondering where I'm going and what I'm doing, I have my schedule all the way to 2030 on my website, Waypoint Overland. Just go to upcoming events. Yeah, I'm going to go through Spain, France, Italy. I plan on going through the Dolomites, Germany, Denmark, Oslo, the usuals. But that's going to be the highlight. I pretty much have it set in my mind, the whole trip. And I was totally excited about it. But I learned about this place maybe 2 months ago in a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when people be talking about places, I pull out my phone and I make little notes to research later.
I flag places.
Mm-hmm. And I was like, if I go to Norway and I don't do this, I'm going to be so pissed when I get home.
Because you missed it?
Yes.
So there's two things that I really pay attention to. Conversations with people is good. I find that reading a lot of travel articles from Travel and Leisure and Atlas Obscura are really, really great, because odd places like this is where I get a lot of my information from. Like whenever I go to Portugal, I've got so many little flags of hikes and oddities and things to see. It's going to be really, really great. But that's where I get a lot of my information, and a lot of my flags come from is from reading articles from those two sources.
Do we have any more on our list? I know we had 3. That was 3, but I had one more.
So I have one out of left field for you. It's actually from Australia, and they call it the Big Lap. That's what they call it. And it's basically Australia's Highway 1. And it is the second longest piece of roadway in the world. And it connects basically all the mainland capitals of Australia. So if you want to see the whole thing on the outside, I mean, that sounds pretty darn cool.
Yep, that's my plan for 2026. September 2026 to September 2027. So that's 3 years from now. That's another thing for you people just getting into this. You can't plan these trips like 3 months out. You need to be working on these trips like at least 2 years out. That's my opinion.
Trip planning for me is part of the fun of the trip, though. You know, I pore over my maps and watch YouTube videos and get on I also get on on Facebook and on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Usually the local travel authority will have a lot of really great information on there too. And so whenever I start wanting to go to places, I start following these and look at the pictures and the locations that they post and things like that. So I'm on a lot of places, for like Switzerland and Australia and all of that, so that I can make the most of my experience, because, most of these people, they live there their whole lives. And so they're like, whatever, I can do whatever, whenever. I'm there for 6 months to a year at a spot. I want to get the most out of my experience. So research for me is a huge part of my adventure.
Me too. And it keeps the time in between from being so long.
Yeah.
It keeps me excited. It keeps me from going, man, I got to wait so long because I'm still learning and learning and learning. And
well,
if you do enough research, what ends up happening is when you get to these places, you know how to walk down every street if you're in a city because you've been down every one of them streets in your mind. You know everything on a menu. You know basically everything on a trail. And it's a comfort level for me.
Yeah, well, there's also a certain amount of packing that you do in your mind too, because whenever I go to places like someplace like Australia, okay, well, what do I need to carry with me? And whenever we get there, what do we need to buy? Because I don't want to be surprised by a lot of things. Oh, I didn't know about this, so I need X, Y, Z, and I didn't expect to need it. So, part of that research is also, financial. How much do I need to plan on spending for X whenever we get there? So
I agree.
Yeah.
Which kind of segues into my additional add to the list. Everybody, no matter how frugal they are, they can't afford to go to any of the places we just named. Or they don't have that kind of time. It's just not feasible to do something like this.
Okay.
Because I know that'll be the first thing I'm attacked with. So I have one that is in America.
Okay.
And we've both done it. And it's the Alaska Highway.
Yes.
It's about 1,300 miles long. It's not a name that you've never heard of. If you may have not taken it, but everybody's heard of it. This is another one of them roads that would not exist if had not governments and industry wanted this road. This had nothing to do with making it more convenient for you to travel Canada.
Well, and ironically, that road was originally built mostly by the United States Army Corps of Engineers, for anybody who doesn't know that. And it was used as a supply route during World War II. So it's another piece of historic roadway.
Yep. It had a lot to do with us being able to have the oil and other things that we needed during the war. And it allowed us to have enough mobility that we were able to protect our north flank at a great level where nobody ever attempted to attack us from the north. We could get military might north quickly with that road. And if you travel through, especially Western Canada, all the way to the tip of Alaska, you will see that a lot of things were made, created, and designed specifically with protection and the war in mind. I think like when I was in Homer, Alaska, pretty much the only reason that little itty bitty tiny little town exists is because we needed a presence on the coast. That's it.
And now they got great halibut there.
I agree.
Yummy.
Don't get me talking about food, Candy. We'll go down that road and never come back.
I do have one road to add to the United States, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, as many as you like.
It's called the Creole Nature Trail. And I'm sure. Have you ever heard of it? Okay. Well, there's also another name that it's not known by, and it's affectionately referred to as Louisiana's Outback. It is 180 miles of National Scenic Byway in the Gulf. And I've personally stayed there. It goes through 2 parishes down there in the southwest corner from Texas all the way in. And it's about 3 hours from New Orleans. I've personally driven it. I've personally done some dispersed camping on the beaches there, which is really great because their beaches there have great seashells if you're into shell collecting. And it's not really commonly known that you can camp on the beaches there. So I was all by myself on this big old stretch of beach, and there were many, many other vehicles way away from me. I drove as far in as I could go without getting stuck in the Jeep, parked it, and that was it for me. And it was glorious. So I highly recommend checking that out if you've never done that piece of roadway before.
So I have done this. What was the name that you called it?
Creole Nature Trail. That's the official name for it.
I've never heard that before. When I went, there was some kind of like Black event going on. and the whole beach was all of these nice cars and trucks and everything, but it was just like all Black people. I don't know what the event was, but from my understanding, it goes on every year. And I think I went through there like October.
Okay.
So if a person wants to look up whatever this event is.
Yeah, it's a really cool piece of roadway. I saw a lot. There was a lot of alligators. There's supposed to be some crocodile mixed in there with that. I saw a lot of otters. So, you know, and a lot of different types of birds. So there's a lot of wildlife to be seen and enjoyed. So yeah, if you ever get a chance. Oh, and there's a ferry too. So I took the ferry and we saw dolphins right there in the cove as we were crossing on this ferry.
And you're not far from good food either on this one.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of good food, especially if you like that that Creole food, man, with a little bit of kick to it. Mm-hmm.
And I do.
I do too. Oh, and shrimp, big shrimp country down there.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I had a picture to show up her. I think they should call them prawns.
Yeah, they're pretty big.
Mm-hmm. Baby lobsters.
Mm-hmm.
I was just talking to my wife about this a week ago. There are a lot of seafood that you'll never see unless you go to Florida.
Yes. Gator tail. I don't know if you consider amphibian to be seafood, but that's a food that you won't see really anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
So gator tail is one of them things.
But there's this, I think it's blue and gold or blue and yellow lobster that I had. There's a blue fish that I had. There's all these beautiful fish that I've never seen when I'm in Florida. And they all taste good. That's the key.
Because they're all swimming in brine.
So this conversation has made me think we're going to have to do a show, me and you, and it's going to be totally about researching places, how to come up with itineraries and routes for a long trip.
Okay.
Because I think you'll give we'll have a lot that are the same, but then you're going to have some stuff totally different than I'm going to have as ideas. And I think that would be a good show. So look out for that, people. She said, okay. Overland Expo will be back in Virginia in about a month. What is it, October 6th or something like that?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I think it's the first weekend of the month. I'm not going, so I don't know.
Well, I will be there. And why won't you be going? I know the answer, but people want to know.
I've got the main component of my new build is being done that weekend. It wasn't a choice that I had. It was this is the date we have available, and I said, do it. So that's why I will not be there, and I'm bummed. I feel like I'm totally missing out. I'm going to be watching your feed on Instagram, insanely jealous and wishing I was there.
Well, my cook ain't gonna be there. So yeah, we're going to talk about this offline, but people, you can look forward to this. Me and CANDI are going to do a show where it's going to be basically how to start to finish, create a trip. And I don't mean just, I want to go to New York and plan the route and I'm talking about an overland trip and how to have fun things to do along the way, how to make just a great trip from A to Z and how it starts, how you get the idea of where you want to go all the way to the end. And
that sounds fun.
With that said, I've been giving cheat sheets for creating a trip or itinerary. And my cheat sheet this week is actually comes from a viewer. I did a cheat sheet where I said a good way to come up with a trip or a travel itinerary is to use themes. And I think the idea I gave was you could go across America and visit all of the best pizza places in America or the best breakfast diners in whatever. And they basically just emailed me. It was real short. Give me another thing. That's what they wrote. Give me another thing. So I'm going to give another theme. And my theme for this week is wineries.
Ooh, that's a good one.
We have awesome wineries all over America. All over America. And some are awesome for it has nothing to do with even wine. They're known and they're awesome because of the location they are. I mean, think about it. A winery is basically a liquor farm.
No, wine is basically fruit salad in a glass, okay?
I like that. But there's a good chance that in general, a winery is going to be somewhere you want to be. It's going to be somewhat remote. It's not going to be downtown in a city. So the locations are usually awesome. A lot of times, wineries will try to pick a farm that has like a beautiful barn or beautiful buildings and structures. And a lot of times, because I like to go on their little wine tours that they take you on, and a lot of times these structures are historic structures. So you're not just using these wineries to give you a route. You really want to go visit all of these wineries. You could just literally take a summer trip, 3 months long across America, going to wineries and do nothing but go to the wineries, and you will have enough on your plate. A lot of these wineries, they'll have bands in the evening. Some of them have 4-star restaurants. And when I say 4-star, I mean 4-star. Because if the food don't match the wine, it would just destroy things. So delicious food.
Some of them also have accommodations available. My favorite wineries to visit are the ones that have the cottages. The individual cottages are amazing because then you go to that 4-star restaurant, you enjoy their wine, you enjoy their food, and about 10 o'clock after the band wraps up, you roll to bed.
And sometimes they'll have a lot of them actually, and this is increasing. A lot of them have an area for campers, overnight camping. So if you want to stay in your vehicle and stick to the rules of an Overlander, you can go up to a lot of these places and camp there. And if they don't have camping there, there's usually camping really close. Because again, like I said, because of the logistics of having a winery, these are places usually in areas where there's also going to be camping and outdoor activities. So it's a great way to come up with a trip. And almost all of them will be somewhere you want to be. So even if you decide, I just want to use the locations to create a trip, but I'm not actually going to visit the wineries, it's still like a good template on creating a trip. And to help the listeners understand more, like for instance, me and my wife, we've made several moves to different houses across America in our lifetime. And one of the ways we used to decide whether we're going to even look at a neighborhood, let alone go visit it and go to a realtor and blah, 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 is I find a place that had a Whole Foods and a Starbucks, and that pretty much guaranteed that area was good, whether I wanted to go to the Starbucks or the Whole Foods. So it's the same thing with this. So you don't necessarily have to go to any of these wineries, but they are going to be extremely indicative of, this is a place that I want to be. This is an area. This is a region I want to be in. And maybe you don't want to do a thing all the way across America, right? Maybe you're like, well, I'm just going to be on the East Coast, or I'm just going to do the West Coast, or I just want to do a couple of cities. Well, America has like major wine regions, famous, internationally famous wine regions. if you ain't ever heard of Sonoma County, you probably don't drink wine. What's another one? Right here in my state, Walla Walla, in the southeastern corner of our state. I was talking about it yesterday, right there on the gorge between Oregon and Washington. We have one of the most acclaimed wineries in America, the St. Michel, is right there. So what else? Upstate New York. If you get to the Finger Lakes area in upstate New York, that's pretty much all wine country. They only do a couple of things: ski, camp, and wine.
Texas Hill Country is another beautiful wine region to consider.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Willamette Valley in Oregon, Snake River Valley in Idaho and Oregon. That's one that's very slept on. I'm sure most people have not heard of Snake River Valley even being a wine region, but if you know anything about the area, the weather, the soil, this place was built for wine.
And it's really good. They have beautiful wineries. And so does Walla Walla. Paso Robles is one of my favorite regions.
I love that.
Yeah.
So I could keep going on. I actually got a list of places that I could just run off. And with a quick Google search, just type in wine regions US and it'll pop up all of these things. It ain't like I'm some genius here. That's all I did. So it doesn't have to be across America. It could just be in a state. It could be in a series of contiguous states. It could be in a region of America. It doesn't have to be. And we're talking America because that's the most common one amongst our listeners for them to understand this. But let's say you're on that trip overlanding across Europe. Whoa, boy. You can stop in France and have some champagne. So,
do you know Baja, Mexico also has a wine region? I
did not.
Yeah, they do.
Talk about it.
It is, it's south of Tijuana. It's a little bit inland and it's on the west side. And it's called Valle de Guadalupe. And it says that it produces nearly 90% of all the wine that comes from Mexico and boasts over 100 distinctive vineyards. So it's quite large. It's their version of Napa Valley. But yeah, if you're heading down into Baja and you want to try some local wines down there, they have an entire region dedicated just to winemaking. And I have had the local wine in Baja. I had it whenever we were down in Baja California Sur, and we all went to a restaurant and we had sampled some of the local wine there, and it was excellent.
You had to cover me just then because I was writing it down. That's the key to my cheat sheets more than anything else. Whether have a you need either get a moleskin, a notepad if you prefer, use some kind of notepad taking app on your phone. You somewhere where you can take all of these things and kind of curate them. You know what I mean? When people tell you about a place, you type that in or write it down. You see something online, you type it in or write it down. And the next thing you know, you'll have a database that's crazy. You know me, like every time I talk to somebody and they say they're coming to the Pacific Northwest, what's the first thing I say?
Talk to me.
You better talk to me.
Right. Talk to me. I know where to go.
Everywhere to go. And it's not because I'm just this great guy or whatever. It's because I've been researching the area because I live here for so long that I have a database that's crazy. And I'm not the only one. I'm confident that there are people who the database that they've put together would make mine look like a scrap sheet of paper. My point in mentioning it is that you have to start. And once you start, it's just going to grow and grow and grow. And it'll reach a point where you can't even go to all the places that are in your list. but it'll always be a great reference for when you are somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Because you could drop me off pretty much anywhere, and I got a list of places to go, whether I've been there or not. Is there anything else that you wanted to talk about on here?
I think I'm good.
So guys, CANDI doesn't know this yet, but
No.
We're going to do another podcast. We're already going to do the podcast that about travel. Don't ask me when, but we're going to do it. And we're also going to do one about things to make your camp cooking easier. And I won't go into detail because I have noticed whenever I give people a clue as to what we're going to do, it's just irony. But it seems like my idea pops up on another podcast.
You're such an innovator, Phil.
I am. I'm going
Yes,
to
you
claim.
are.
I am going to claim that because no one will say it but me.
Yeah, I did too.
A majority of things that you see in Overland podcast happened here first. All right, that's my little pat on my own back, make me feel better. All right, guys, you know what I'm going to say. Stay safe, tread lightly, and hopefully we'll see you here or on the trail soon.
You have been listening to Waypoint Overland's Random Waypoints. Like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more.